Hi guys, welcome to the workshop on NMAT. In this workshop, we'll talk about the shortcuts and strategies for the NMAT exam. If you want admission in Mumbai, one of the top colleges, Narsee, Monjee, then the exam is obviously NMAT. Fine. If you please sit with a pen and paper ready, because all these strategies will increase your score by up to 10 marks. That I can promise you. Fine. From CATing point of view. About CATing, we have rank 1 from NMAT from CATing for last 3 years. Fine. We have Raghuram, who was the last year topper. We had Ramika Kapoor, who was last year topper. She scored 263 marks, which is the highest record from seating point of view. We had Suraj a year before that. His score was around 252. Fine. So we have people, and Raghuram was finally ranked 1 after GDPI scores were added. Fine. So last 3 years we got a very consistent score. End of the day, it's your hard work, but NMAT is the exam which is more about strategy. If you don't have your mock taking strategies in place, if you don't have shortcuts in place, it'll be very difficult to crack NMAT. Yep. Alright, what you need for this workshop is taking notes or any other notes which you have. Actual papers, go through the last few years papers which you have for NMAT. NMAT went online a few years ago, so you not get the papers, online papers, but all the paper-based papers will be available. Please try to download all of them from cating.com. You need mocks for practice. Around 6 to 8 marks is more than sufficient, and of course a lot of motivations and time to study. Fine. So normally people give 2 attempts for NMAT, attempt number 1 and attempt number 2. So what I recommend is giving 4 marks for attempt number 1 and 4 marks for attempt number 2 is a very good way to give marks. That's more than sufficient. Alright, let's start with the mota overview. The moment you start your NMAT paper, you will get a choice to start with quant, verbal or logic. So you can choose this section, quant, logic, verbal, or logic, verbal, quant. So this is one area where you're given the opportunity to choose whichever section you want to choose. So I'm an engineer, I might go with the quant first. That's my only strong area, in fact I have. So maybe I'll start with the quant section. So quant section will see 48 questions which have to be done in 60 minutes. So there's sectional cutoff for each of them. So there's a time limit for each of them. So this is one exam where you have to manage different cutoffs. We'll talk about the cutoffs in some time. Verbal section, the best section of that, you do 32 questions in 22 minutes. So really not much time to solve the few questions. Fine. And logic, 40 questions to be done in 38 minutes. And just to remind you, there is a sectional cutoff as well, overall cutoff as well for this exam. So welcome to the exam which is full of strategies. You have to manage all 4 cutoffs. Fine. This is a typical exam which is a T20 match, which is not test match to test how good you are like CAT exam. This is a game of speed versus your mock taking strategy. So NMAT is the only exam in fact which I feel is actually going to test your managerial skills. How you manage your paper is the most important part. And this is what we're going to talk about in going section by section. Alright, so now we'll start with the section by section. Alright, so let's start with the quant section for the NMAT exam. So you'll be seeing 48 questions in this section to be done in 60 minutes. So that's your breakup of the number of questions which will be there in the exam. And the best part of it is, unlike CAT, which is dominated by the quant section, out of 48 questions, around 20 questions will be DIDS and hardly 28 questions on maths. So those who are weak in quant, fine, you can really focus on the non-quant question DIDS to increase your score. Yep. But the problem is the easiness parts end here, because DI is the most difficult part of the quant section. Yeah, we'll talk about that as we go along. So let's start with the overview about what kind of question you can expect in the quant section. Fine. Quant section is always dominated by arithmetic. So around 6 to 9 questions you can expect from arithmetic. That's true everywhere. In fact, in every exam you will see a lot of arithmetic questions which are there. Fine. So the traditional AGM, which I have 3 main things, followed by geometry and modern maths. So what I've seen in the last couple of years, the geometry weightage have gone down. So NMAT have become more of a traditional exam which used to be there earlier. It's like a CAT exam of 2005 to 2008 period, where geometry and modern maths, your set theory, function graph, inequalities question, not that many. But again, numbers and algebra is full of them. So expect another 3 to 4 questions on numbers, around 4 questions on algebra, which is your simple equation, quadratic equation, polynomial equation, all those things, and around 3 questions on geometry and modern maths. Fine. So these are the 5 areas which we have. So obviously the most important one being arithmetic, percentages, profit and loss, averages, mixtures, fine, all those topics. So that's the most important part of your quant section. Yep, so around 28 to 30 question will be out of quant, which you have to target. Fine, moving on to DI section. DI, there will be around 3 to 4 sets of DI, which are all calculation intensive. You will see multiple charts. Fine, there are 4 bar charts which you have to combine to solve the questions. Yeah? So very lengthy questions. So what I would recommend is to do DI in the end. Fine, don't start with DI because that always will take more time to solve. Fine, so expect 3 to 4 caselets of 4 questions each. Fine, couple of sets will be difficult, but yes, there will be 1 or 2 easy sets as well in the exam which you can choose and do them first. And of course 6 question, 5 to 6 question on data sufficiency. So DIDS together will be there for around 16 to 20 marks. You can expect 3 sets or 4 sets. Fine. So that's your major parts of DI. Alright, so if you have a few days remaining for the NMAT exam, or if you're starting for the NMAT exam preparation from the quant section point of view, what I recommend is please do DI, DS. These are the two, half of the quant section is DI, DS, so you can't ignore these 2 topics. Fine, within quant you have to do geometry, numbers, and arithmetic, numbers, and algebra. These are the 3 most important areas. If you have more time, we can focus on geometry and modern math that cover up everything which you need to do. But mainly arithmetic, numbers, and algebra. These are the 3 most important areas from the quant section point of view. Fine. So out of 48 questions, you have to solve 30 questions. That's your ideal attempt you should have. There will be a sectional cutoff. Sectional cutoff will be around 70, 71. Fine. So if you're doing 30 questions, 3 marks per question. If you're attempting 90 questions, you will get your 70 marks. So you have to touch 30 questions. That's your ideal attempt. And remaining 18 questions, obviously we have to complete the paper because there is no negative marking. So complete the paper, but you have to attempt at least 30 questions so that I can bare minimum get my 70 marks. Alright. Now that cutoff will change, which changes every, but mota cutoff remains same. Alright. So in case you plan to join us, you can join our shortcuts. We have shortcut workshop for quant, DI without pen, verbal and logical reasoning that cover up all the shortcuts you need to know about quant and other areas. Fine. In fact, we have rank 1 from NMATking last year. Fine. So you can join our program if you want. Alright, so starting with the verbal session for the NMAT exam. The best part of the verbal session is when you start, when you finish, you will never come to know. Fine, you will get around 32 questions to be done in 22 minutes. That's the bare minimum time you have as compared to any other exams. Fine. And one thing I can tell you now only, if you touch RC, you are gone. In CAT, it's the other way around. CAT, if you don't touch RC, you will not score marks. You cannot reach IMs without touching RC. But in NMAT, please avoid RC. We'll do RC in the end. Yep. Alright, so we have RCs. Obviously, there will be 2 RC passages with around 8 questions in total from RC. Vocab will be filled with vocab, around 10 to 12 questions. Fine, what we have is an NMAT group on Facebook. Just search for NMAT group from NMATking. That group contains almost 22,000 members. What we do, we post a lot of high frequency words from NMAT in that group. Fine, so please download those groups, download those words, and you will be see a lot of questions coming from that vocab. So it's not about only vocab, so it's antonyms, synonyms, your analogies, fill the blanks, all of them combined around 10 to 12 questions. Then you will see critical reasoning based questions around 4 to 6 questions and parajumbles around 4 questions. Yeah, so that's your mota breakup of the exam. So start with your vocab, most important part, parajumbles, critical reasoning, and if time permits, we'll touch upon RC. Fine. So that should be a breakup. Please do not start with your RC. You will fall flat. Fine, it will be very difficult to crack the exam if you focus on the RC. Alright, so out of these 32 questions, your ideal attempt have to be around 22-24. Fine. With cutoff would be around 55. So 22-24 question if I do mean I am attempting 72 marks, 22 mean I am attempting 66 marks, and good enough to get 55 right. Yep, that's gonna be your cutoff. That's your target. Alright, move to logic section. If you've been preparing for the logic, this section is going to be the biggest game changer for you, because a lot of things have changed from CAT to the non-CAT exam. CAT was only about logical puzzles. Fine, you will see a few 4 logical puzzles in CAT and you are done with the syllabus of CAT. But in NMAT, there will be very few logical puzzles as compared to what CAT contains. You can expect 2 to 3 logical puzzles, so around 8 to 12, 10 to 12 questions on logical puzzles, that's it. Fine. So total there will be 38 minutes time to solve 40 questions. Yeah. Alright. Fine. So logical puzzles again will be time taking. It's not that easy as what you think. It's almost as difficult as CAT, so you should avoid logical puzzles. We'll do in the end. But main problem area of NMAT is critical reasoning. There will be around 10 questions on critical reasoning: statement, inference, cause and effect, statement, conclusion. There will be around 8 to 10 questions, and this is going to be the main deciding factor. If you have not worked on them, please work on them. You will not find this question in any of the CAT book. That's the main problem. If you have seen it in orange books, last 4 or 5 chapters are dedicated for critical reasoning. If you are online students, please go. There are 10 workshops in your login IDs: statement, assumption, statement, conclusion, courses of action, strong argument, weak argument, all these things combined, 10 questions. That is going to be a deciding factor. Fine. Apart from that, everything will be easy. You will not find any difficulty. Input, output, but really tough input, output, not easy to solve. Remember that. Fine. Arrangement, letter arrangement, series, question around 5 questions, coin decoding questions, odd man out. Rest of the part is easy. Fine. So start with these part first: input, output, coin decoding. Fine. The difficult part is going to be logical puzzles and input, output. Critical reasoning is something new, so you have to work on that as well. Fine. So that your mota main questions from the NMAT point of view. Fine. So if I summarize in this section, so your target attempt sorry have to be, out of 40 questions, have to be around 32. So 30 question, 3 mark per question, 90 attempt is a very good attempt, in this section. And fine, so cutoff will be around 65. So if I'm touching 90 brilliantly, I can score 65 marks in this section. Fine. So moving back to the difficulty part, do logical puzzles in the end. We don't have time to solve that. Main area to work on, new area, is critical reasoning, and the difficult part obviously logical puzzles and input, output. The rest everything is easy. Coin decoding, series, all these are typical questions you will see in your books. Fine. Only problem is if you don't have NMAT books, trust me, CAT books will fail here. The CAT books are only for CAT, because CAT syllabus is totally different when it's come to logic section. After CAT, NMAT, SNAP, CMAT, CET, all the exam, logic is mota same. Fine. If you don't have the books with you, please buy non-CAT books. Alright. Moving to the cutoffs, mota cutoffs is going to be 209. That's your traditional cutoff for last 2, 3, 4 years. 208 or 210. Mota cutoff will remain same around this. But there are individual section cutoff as well in quant, verbal, and LR. Quant cutoff is mota around 71, 70 marks. That should be a target. So you have to attempt 90 marks paper. So 30 questions solve करना पड़ेगा in quant section. Out of 48 questions in 60 minutes. That's your quant section. In verbal section, your cutoff will be around 55. To get 55, you have to touch around 72 questions, solve 72 marks, which means 3 marks per question. So you have to attempt around 25 questions. 25 questions out of 32 questions in 22 minutes. That's your target. LR cutoff is around 65. So mota my attempt should be again around 85, 90. Let's say mota 90 attempt, which means I have to touch 30 questions out of 40 questions in 38 minutes. 38 minutes, 30 questions is a very good target. You can achieve that. Verbal puzzle, vocab will not take too much time. So 22 minutes, 24 questions, again not a difficult target. Similarly, in quant, 40 course 30 minutes, 30 questions in 60 minutes, and again are not very important, very difficult targets. Fine, so that's your mota breakup for the NMAT exam, cutoffs point of view. Alright, so this oral workshop, the objective was to increase your score by 10 marks, which I'm sure if you follow this strategy will work for you. Finally, we'll talk about section by section. If you start the math section, do DI in the end because we don't have time to solve DI. It's always time taking. Remember my words in the exam. Verbability, do RC in the end. In case you're not able to solve the paper, the whatever left over is RC. And in LR, please do puzzles in the end because they're always time taking. But there's no negative marking, so obviously you should attempt the complete paper. Alright. Fine. So you can see the other videos as well. Like this, improve your score by 10 marks strategy video is there for every exam which you're going to take. So please just search on my Facebook page. You'll find the other videos as well from CETking. Alright, if you have any more questions from me, you can join me on Facebook, facebook.com/revgan. And if you want to buy on programs, you can go to ceetking.com. You can see the online program we have with the shortcuts and your mocks. If you want to call us, the 959 444 1448. That's our number. You can call us to join the programs. We have 8 mocks and the shortcuts for all the exams. Alright, all the best. Thank you.